Even like in the rap world, like all of the rappers that you know that never been to jail and never got in any trouble with the law, but they talk as if their life is opposite of that. Like, those are federal informants, like, you know.
You think they're really out there?
Because if it ain't that, is it the snitch? Is it your informant friend? Did they come to you or did they get you? When did they get you?
Right.
Is that what you hiding? Is that what it is? Because this don't make no sense.
So that would be the question. What is it?
What is
Why?
it?
Why did you do this to me?
That would be the only question. Why?
This interview is absolutely explosive, especially when he started talking about certain rappers being federal informants. The moment he said that, everyone's mind immediately went to one person. Yes, you guessed it, Jay-Z. Now, we've all heard those whispers for years about Jay-Z's supposed day of reckoning coming, but isn't it strange how it never actually arrives? Meanwhile, everyone around him keeps falling like dominoes to the feds. Well, according to Katt, there's a simple explanation: the feds are never going after Jay-Z because he's actually one of them. But hold on to your seats, because we need to dive deep into this. Is Jay-Z really working with the feds, and what exactly did Katt say about your favorite rappers being rats? Let's unpack this drama, because trust me, it's juicier than you can imagine. These yearly Katt Williams tell-all interviews are becoming quite the tradition, and honestly, we are living for every single second of it. Last year's Club Shay Shay interviewed literally turned the industry upside down. Everything, and I mean everything he predicted, started making sense as the year went by. From all that Diddy drama to Steve Harvey revelations to those industry freak-offs, he mentioned it was like Katt had some kind of crystal ball showing him the future. And now he's back, darlings, with an even more explosive sit-down with Theo Vaughn. We're talking everything from mind-blowing industry secrets to reincarnation and politics. But let me tell you what really got people's attention when Katt started spilling about snitches in the industry. The moment that word left his lips, everyone's minds went straight to one person: Jay-Z. Let's be real for a minute. Isn't it beyond suspicious that practically everyone around Jay-Z has been caught up in federal cases while he's somehow remained completely untouchable? Well, according to Katt, it's not really that mysterious at all. Jay-Z's protected status isn't luck, it's because he's got friends in very high places, if you know what I mean. To really understand this whole messy situation with Jay and the feds, we need to take it way back before there was any Jay-Z empire, before Roc Nation, back when he was just another kid trying to make it on the streets. Now, as most of you probably know, Jay-Z wasn't exactly selling lemonade before his music career took off, if you catch my drift. During those early days, Jay had this incredibly close friend named DeHaven. When I say close, I mean they literally grew up in the same building in the Marcy projects. They were so tight that Jay was even the godfather to DeHaven's daughter. DeHaven wasn't just a friend, he was Jay-Z's partner in all their street business ventures, playing a huge role in Jay come up. But everything changed after one night that exposed who Jay-Z really was, and trust me, it's not pretty. Picture this: DeHaven and Jay are out picking up their latest merchandise, successfully securing 450 G's worth. But before they could make it back to their territory, they got ambushed in that terrifying moment. DeHaven, being the loyal friend he was, tried to create a diversion so Jay could escape. They both managed to get away, but here's where it gets heartbreaking. When DeHaven caught up with Jay, something was terribly wrong. He could barely breathe. That's when the horrible realization hit him: he'd been shot and was losing consciousness fast. Somehow DeHaven managed to flag down a taxi to get to the hospital. Before he left, he handed Jay all their cash and product, telling him to grab his mom and meet him at the hospital. Jay did exactly that, and everything seemed okay until it wasn't. Later, when both friends got caught up in a case together, DeHaven ended up taking a 5-year fall while Jay walked away scot-free. Now, you'd think Jay would stand by his friend, right? Especially since they were both in the same business that got DeHaven locked up. But according to DeHaven, Jay completely switched up on him, leaving him to face the music alone. And get this, Jay wasn't even apologetic about it. Instead, he had the audacity to accuse Devon of snitching in his track No Hook, where he rapped F DeHaven for caving. That's why we don't speak. DeHaven has denied these snitching allegations multiple times, but the damage to his reputation was already done, and he could never bounce back from Jay's betrayal. So while Jay was out here building his empire, DeHaven was left watching from the sidelines. Jay controlled the whole narrative until DeHaven finally got to tell his side of the story in an Explosive interview with Real Life Productions and what he revealed absolutely shocking according to DeHaven. The reason Jay-Z manages to walk away clean from every single mess he gets involved in isn't luck or skill, it's because he's got some serious protection thanks to his connection with Desiree Perez, a former federal informant with an incredibly sketchy past. Now, here's the real tea. Desiree isn't just some random associate, she's the president of Roc Nation and Jay-Z's right-hand woman. The irony of Jay calling DeHaven a snitch while making an actual federal informant his second in command. It's almost too much to handle, but hold on to your seats because Desiree's story isn't just about some white-collar crime or tax evasion. It's way darker than that. Born in the Bronx to Cuban immigrant parents, Desiree started in the music industry working as a part-time assistant manager at a New York nightclub in the mid-90s. That's where she started connecting with local artists and eventually met Jay-Z. By 2009, she had officially joined Roc Nation as chief operating officer, working closely with both Jay-Z and Beyoncé on multiple projects. Fast forward to 2019, and Jay announces at the Billboard Women in Music Awards that he's appointed Desiree as CEO of Roc Nation. In this role, she's been supervising some of Roc Nation's biggest projects, including executive producing 4 consecutive Super Bowl halftime shows from 2021 to 2024. To outsiders, it looks like Desiree and Jay-Z have this amazing professional relationship built on mutual respect and trust, but honey, it goes so much deeper than that. Some people have even started calling Desiree Jay-Z's Grilla Blanco. For those who don't know, Grilla Blanco was this notorious Colombian drug lord famous for her absolutely ruthless tactics. She's believed to be responsible for at least 200 unlawful departures, and she was known for showing zero mercy to her enemies. Griselda ruled Miami with an iron fist from the 70s through the early 2000s. In 1975, she got arrested, sentenced to 20 years, serving 19, before getting released due to health issues. After her release, she was deported back to Colombia, where she met her end in Medellin at the hands of motorcycle assassins in September 2012. To this day, no one knows who orchestrated her departure, though there are some pretty strong theories floating around now. You might be wondering what this has to do with Desiree and Jay-Z. Well, get this, there's actually a photo of young Jay-Z with Gisela Blanco, and from their body language they seem pretty comfortable with each other. How did they meet? Well, according to court records obtained by the New York Daily News, back in 1994, Desiree Perez was arrested for possession of 35 kilos of substances and conspiracy with intent to distribute. The authorities believed she was part of a much bigger distribution network stretching from New York to Florida and Puerto Rico. But Desiree wasn't alone in this. Her husband Juan O.G. Perez was her partner in crime, and apparently he knew Griselda Blanco personally. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Jay-Z and OG Juan are actually super close, going way back to the mid-90s. They even co-founded the 40/40 Club together, and years later Jay-Z made OG Juan the president of Roc Nation Sports. But according to insiders, Jay-Z and OG Juan's relationship didn't start there. It goes all the way back to when Jay-Z was still working the streets, and they allegedly dealt in the same kind of merchandise, if you catch my drift. Now back to Desiree and her federal case. After getting caught with all those kilos, you'd think she'd be facing serious time, right? But somehow she only got 5 years of probation. Why? Because she agreed to become an informant for the U.S. Attorney's Office, and let me tell you, she took that job very seriously. Word is she even wore wires to gather intel on her former partners. The New York Daily News wrote this explosive article about the case, saying that during a June 11, 1996 court hearing obtained by the news shows the feds were pleased with their star mole. They quoted Assistant U.S. Attorney Lane Lawrence Bartfeld telling a judge the defendant has really worked closely with these agents. The article described Desiree as a Manhattan nightclub manager with a lengthy criminal record and close links to hip-hop mogul Jay-Z, and called her someone with a long and wild history as a DEA cooperating witness, and then a fugitive. But here's the weird part. Try finding this article online now. It's like it's completely disappeared along with any references to it. When news broke that Jay-Z had made Desiree the president of Roc Nation, his former friend and business partner Dame Dash showed up on Sway in the morning and basically said Jay had crossed a line by hiring a federal informant. According to Dame, many people in Jay's circle, including Kareem Biggsburg, one of Rockefeller's co-founders, had dealt with federal issues before, so it made zero sense for Jay-Z to bring an informant into the mix. But Jay-Z wasn't the only one making questionable decisions about hanging with snitches. Remember when Meek Mill called out Tekashi 6699 and said he should apologize for snitches back in May 2020? Meek tweeted, "I hope that rat going live to apologize to the people he told on or the victim. Oh, y'all forgot that fast that a rat unalived Nippy. He wasn't supposed to be on the streets. That's the only thing I must say, because he's not with us. Left his baby mom and child like a coward, as Target's fans were not having it," and quickly reminded Meek Mill that he shouldn't be throwing stones from his glass house. They pulled up these photos from 2019 showing Desiree personally walking Meek Mill into court, where he somehow managed to get his charges dropped. The audacity of him complaining about snitches while being perfectly fine with a known informant helping him avoid jail time. Desiree Perez became a cooperating witness for the DEA in the 1990s after her 1994 arrest for possession of 35 kilos of C. Perez Street struck a deal with the feds, agreeing to wear a hidden wire to record her meetings with major traffic.
Desiree Perez became a cooperating witness for the DEA in the 1990s after her 1994 arrest for possession of 35 kilos of cocaine. Perez struck a deal with the feds, agreeing to wear a hidden wire to record her meetings with major cocaine traffic cartel. Her undercover informant work won her courtroom praise for federal prosecutors, as does mine, after she helped them break up major drug dealers in Puerto Rico and Colombia. You see Meek Mill right here with Desiree Perez, right? She's part of his bail with Jay-Z. This part of Rock Nation, right? She's a executive at Rock Nation. But then you go saying, "Yo, listen, we don't fuck with rats." Your executive is a rat. So you pick and choose? Because if you don't want to be around rats completely, you're with a rat right there. She cooperated for the DEA. Meek Mill, you can't pick and choose who you want to call rats. You can't say this is fake. This is on public information. This was on the New York on the New York Times. What are you gonna say? No, I didn't know. You know.
That this world has ever seen. You want to know how I feel? I tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call Alex Sparrow Des Perez and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you Jays, you who say you rose from the gutter, but you have trained and bed the souls of young men and you're still doing it. But I'm telling you, this court system is not for justice. It's about wins and losses, and they do dirty to do whatever they can. Jesus, see, let me speak to you. He has kids. Black Nation, because my son refused to sign a Rock Nation a deal with you. Yes, and Des right Perez, you wicked witch, you snitch. Yes, you turned on your coast conspirators, all the whole mafia, one of you that was ping drugs in this country, and you rolled on them before. So the Fed could give you a deal. All of you, trust me, I have intercessors, prayer warriors around the world, and they will not stop until you cut off. No, we don't you with guns, but we know exactly how to bring you down. That's right. Remember Jay-Z's friend DeHaven we talked about earlier? Well, he also had plenty to say about Desiree, basically calling her out for being a snitch and blasting Jay for even associating with her, and keep in mind the chick had a plan too, like, yo, we can do things, and I can guarantee you the conversation with Emmy, even when Emmy came home and seen the same thing. Yo, you dealing with her, who's the chick? Des, okay, yeah, okay. He came home and had to see it too, say, yo, what is this? And I can tell you how that conversation probably went, like, look man, you don't need to worry about this, you don't need to worry about nothing else ever again, you over here with us now. But what if Yoshi is snit man, that snitch bro, them people that's talking about that snitch, we ain't going to be breathing in the same ear, them, __. That's what you worried about, them that don't have nothing sitting home. Where you going to be if you don't get on this side of town? Get on this side. I can see that conversation happening, and then move all his integrity and morals to the side to take care his family after he just did 12 years. I can see that, but I don't see, and what I couldn't put past me is Emery coming to music, me just on some real, __. This is what hurt when I say when you expect, __. that treat you the way you treat them, and it don't work that way. Worst, that's the worst thing you can ever do the world, you know, 'cause I could have expected __. to come to me and say, look man, I don't know what Jay tripping off of, he's still tripping off of that, this, that, and the third, I'm not really with that, but you can't tell them I'm with you, so this what I'm going do, boom boom boom, we work from their real, but to act like yo I'm a join forces and do the same thing and play this like this, come on man, that's humiliating. Now I got you as a yes man, like yo bro, you couldn't even speak up for me, you know what I'm saying, so all of that twisted, and that's how all those conversation, that's how they think of us, they like really those guys talking about snitching this, and that they what you worried about them for, they don't be in our parties, you know what I'm saying, what you worried about that for. All of this has led to widespread speculation that Jay-Z is untouchable because he's protected by the feds, which explains why he never gets into trouble even when all his close friends are falling like dominoes around him. In his recent interview, Katt Williams dropped the bombshell that Jay-Z and many other celebrities fall into this category. According to him, a lot of your favorite rappers are actually informants who would snitch on anyone if it meant getting what they want, like in the rap world, like all of the rappers that you know that never been to jail and never got in any trouble with the law. But they talk as if their life is opposite of that, like those are federal informants, like you know you think they're really out there. Yeah, that's part of the job, is to acquire those, just like saying, you know, if you're playing chess, do you have any pawns? You have to, don't you? You can't start without them. But now, we'd absolutely love to hear what you think about all this tea. Do you believe Jay-Z is really protected because he's working with the feds? Or is this all just one big conspiracy theory? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and don't go anywhere, because we've got another juicy story coming right up. Juicy story coming right up.